Hello and welcome to Side Talk, episode 7, with the Left Side's monthly review show. As you can see, we are joined by Michael this month, tagging in for my usual partner, Scott, who is off to Japan, which is absolutely amazing. He'll be back next month with stories. He's off to a DDT show over there, so lots of cool things he'll be telling us next month. But for the time being, it is me and the man that is called Michael. So yeah, how's it going, Michael? You okay, dude?
Yes, very good, thank you. Very jealous that he's off to Japan. He told me about it. I'm very jealous because obviously Japanese wrestling is very cool. So yes, I'm jealous.
Very much so. Yeah, I am jealous also. I think I'd sell a particular body part to like go to a Wrestle Kingdom or something.
Oh yes.
Anyway, yeah. So as always, wrestling has produced an awful lot to catch up with for the past over the past month or so. So we'll do our best to round up a few bits and pieces that we've been keeping our eye on and enjoying. We're going to start with the land of All Elite. So we're going to cast our mind back to a few weeks ago. It feels like forever ago now. It's the problem with these monthly shows. To a little show called All Out. Plenty happened. We had Willow and Statlander in a street fight, which was awesome. One of my matches of the night, definitely. We had, oh my word, I can't remember. We had, was it Yuta and Claudio versus the Bucks, which was good fun. The big matches we could probably think about would be we had Swerve and Hangman inside the what did they call it? The lights out steel cage match. It was absolutely hellacious, that match, man. Oh my days. So yeah, we're gonna have a little catch up on and talk about some thoughts from that particular show. So yeah, Michael, come on. What did you think of All Out? Was there anything that you want to talk about from that show?
It was brutal. It was the one that stand out. It was It was something that AEW. I kind of like the fact they stick to that. It's not sanitized like WWE in that respect. But yeah, the Willow street fight, Statlander, that was brutal, and that's probably the most brutal women's fight I've seen, I think. But good fun. And Willow actually was a lot better than I thought she was. Yeah. I think she really sort of impressed me, and I was like, very believable in what she was doing. The Swerve, that's a whole different. Yeah, I thought the Danielson with the bag over the head, I thought, that's pretty grim. And I didn't really, take it off him, like rushing like in my head and think, just get it off him now, because he's got a little bit of air coming in, but actually rip the thing off his face. But the actual that lights out match, I was literally like, oh god, like, and showing people clips of just certain bits of it, just like wow.
Yeah.
But probably the most brutal first match I've ever gone, oh wow, yeah, can you just finish it now? The commentators were like, finish it. I don't know what you thought. Yeah,
man, it was definitely well, first of all, I think I saw someone say that the contrast between All In, which was like the light graphics and super sunshiny, happy kind of feels vibes, and then the contrast to the graphics to like All Out, like 2 weeks later, it was just dark and grim, and like it did exactly what it said from the graphics, basically, and it was just like this happy celebration to this just murder. Brutal murder.
In the Swerve match, they had the cinder blocks, and you see in wrestling cinder blocks like breaking quite easily. You're like, clearly not cinder blocks, but when they put in each other's backs onto it, and then I think it was Hangman turned at one point, went towards one of the corners, and his back, the red mark down his back, I was like, yeah, it's real. Like, and internal damage that must have done was just, oh man, like probably more brutal than any of the other things they were doing. I mean, even the way they put the needle into the mouth was like, I don't know, it's so hard. Like, you know, if you go to the dentist, they put it in the side of your mouth and that knocks you out. Job done. But he was like putting it, I was like, no. And then the cameraman's like, right up, like,
Yeah, it was absolutely horrifying. Like it's rare that I watch a wrestling match through my fingers. I'm a big horror fan as well, so
yes.
I am not squeamish whatsoever. But yeah, watching that was just it was hard work, man. Like that, like what you just referred to, the hangman with like the scrape down his back, but then the power bomb. To swerve on the cinder block. I mean, like Hangman did not hold back whatsoever, and the way his spine just bent. Oh, it was.
And he sort of lay there, didn't he, in this sort of
weird position. Yeah, it was.
I mean,
it was hard work.
And Hangman like has really come on in terms of his character. Like you look at him, you go, he's mental. He's crazy. Like what is. Like the eyes, like he somehow managed to make his eyes go like this somehow, like constantly. He's really believable. That he's, you know, it's Swerve's fault that he's lost his mind. It's clever stuff. I mean, I'm a little bit out of that. I'm a little bit like, where's Swerve going now? Because you know, I read where as well that was that two in a row, two big ones in a row that he had lost. I actually thought he'd win that. I thought he'd beat him after giving up the title. I just thought, I hope he's not on the sort of downward trajectory and sort of being pushed aside. I hope not. I don't think they would.
No, I doubt that. I kind of knew Swerve was gonna lose this one because he'd won the previous two. Previous two matches were the one-on-one, and then the three-way with Joe. Joe pinned Hangman. Wasn't it, or submitted for Hangman? So Hangman's lost every meeting between them, really. So Hangman deserved the win back. But yeah, it was two big losses back to back for Swerve. But I do feel like some kind of like character change might be in the works, and off the back of what happened at Grand Slam last night. Something very interesting could be happening, but we'll get to that a little bit later. We've still got some all-out shenanigans to be talking about for the moment. Somebody said to me, and I found it quite interesting. This, the spot with the needle in the mouth was like symbolic of like anesthetizing this character, the Swerve character, and then killing the character. And I don't know exactly, I could see what he was talking about, but I don't know whether I particularly bought into that kind of that idea. But what do you think about that? To be honest,
exactly what I was going to say. I don't like the burning down of his family home. Like, I think was going right. Hangman, you're the heel. Like, you know, you've lost your mind. Swerve's fault. But I don't think Swerve can. He sits in the middle, doesn't he? And I don't think he's ever gonna. It won't work as a face. I don't think for him as a pure face. He's not gonna be. He's always gonna have that edge to him. Now, a bit like back in the sort of Stone Cold days where he wasn't totally innocent of things. So I don't think it would be a cleansing of this Swerve that we had. And he would come out and wave into the crowd. And, it's never going to work, is it? I mean, the crowd love him, whether he's a heel or not anyway. But, I don't think he'd ever be kind of, I think he'd always be stuck in the middle, or that end of it, it would be the heel.
The man broke into Hangman's house and threatened his child, and the crowd cheered for him. So, he's definitely like that gritty kind of middleman that we need and so desperately love. It did make for an interesting dynamic. It's no wonder Hangman lost his mind. I thought that the end of All Out with Hangman just screaming into the camera was an absolute fucking masterpiece. I absolutely loved it. Like just screaming like a psycho. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I think I don't. Yeah, where it goes with him. I think with Swerve, it will depend on who he fights, like in terms of going forward. So if he fights more of the ones that are the heels, then obviously people are going to cheer for him even more. So it'd be more about the booking of him, whether he becomes more for a face rather than him changing character. And I wouldn't want him to change character, to be honest. Hangman, where he goes, you'd hope it starts leading to some sort of title run or so, towards a title of some sort, because he's on his game at the moment. And they were pulling wrestling moves off in that cage that, despite all the stuff on the floor and inside the ring, they was pulling off some moves that if they were just in a ring, you would go, blimey, that was good. But it was almost lost a little bit because they were in the cage.
Yeah.
But some of the power slams from high, some of the general wrestling, you're like, that was good. But it was almost like you were too worried about what was next, because you knew something grim was going to happen. I mean, I didn't expect a needle, but clever, outside the box,
Yeah, extreme.
But yeah,
it's always the thing about those kinds of matches in like cages and whatnot. Like the cage obscures view for many people. So you're better off kind of watching at home, I guess, because the cameraman inside the ring. What a job that is, by the way. We're gonna lock you in a cage with these two maniacs who are going to just like murder each other. Get the best picture you can.
That in with a bit of wood, for goodness sake, from the burnt down home.
Yeah.
It saved it. Oh, yeah. Good. It's good storyline. Good storyline. I hope it's done now, though. I don't want any more.
Yeah, well, Hangman's moved on to Jeff Jarrett, hasn't he? So, like, he's got Jeff Jarrett at Collision Grand Slam. It was all so obviously Dynamite was live, and then Collision, I believe, was taped afterwards. So that'll be out over the weekend. So the direction I want for Hangman now is for him to just pick up lots of wins. During the Blood and Guts match a couple of months ago, there was a moment where Okada and Hangman were like face to face and not getting on and all that kind of stuff, even though they were on the same team. And I thought we were going to get a Hangman Okada match. I thought that was going to be the match for All In, to be honest with you. So I do wonder whether there's something in the pipeline for that, because Hangman would be a worthy person to dethrone Okada for the Continental title. But then again, the Continental Classic was last October, is that right? So would you a Continental Classic? It was October, November time, I think. Maybe it was a bit later. I'm not too sure, but anyway, yeah, I feel like it's coming up soon, and that was yeah, I don't think they'll change the champ just yet because of the C2 coming up whenever it's coming up, because it was Eddie Kingston, wasn't it? But anyway, I'm digressing in a big way. So is there anything else from All In that you'd like to touch upon before we move swiftly on?
No, and never felt that the title would change hands, that Danielson would lose the title. It never. I mean, it was a pretty good match. I thought it was quite a good match. I think Jack Perry, put on a good show. I like his character. Like I said last time, I think he's decent. I'm a big fan of his, and he's won me over. But never felt like you're gonna lose it. And then Moxley comes out and does what he does. And like he wears that storyline. I'm like, because it just seems strange to me that he wasn't. I don't know. Was he injured for All In, or
I believe we had pre-organised time off.
Right, because then it just felt a little bit strange that suddenly he appears and he's going down this route of things aren't right and I'm going to change it. And I just felt like, I don't know if we're digressing a little bit. I was a bit like, oh, okay, like just strange. I hope he isn't the one to put him into retirement, because I don't. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I might as well go on to the Grand Slam kind of things, because some happenings regarding the whole BCC or whatever they're calling themselves happened. So
I missed this. This is why I'm a bit vague about
okay.
what I did. So yeah, I'm a bit like, what? How? Yeah. So because obviously this midweek main event thing going on, I'm like, what on earth is going on?
Yeah, it's definitely worth catching up on. It was a really good show. So yeah, the show opened with McGuinness and Danielson, which was quite pleasantly surprising. To say McGuinness has only wrestled in one match in 13 years, like, did look like he hasn't missed a beat at all. Absolutely fantastic against Danielson. Absolutely, just they beat the heck out of each other, and it culminated in Danielson tapping out McGuinness in the label lock. And at the time, I thought McGuinness mouthed "fuck you" before tapping out, but
Right.
according to social media, he said "thank you" and then tapped out. So I need to find some clarity on that situation, because thanking somebody he's been giving absolute pelters to for the longest time
Yeah.
feels a bit strange. But anyway, yeah, so that was a really good match. But then Christian Cage comes out with his little Money in the Bank kind of style box thing. It's not a suitcase, it's a box.
Yeah.
So then Kip Sabian comes up behind him and steals his pen, because he's about to sign his name on the contract, Christian Cage. And then as Christian Cage is on his way back into the behind the curtain, Pac and Claudio are both stood there staring him down. So then time ticks to the end of the show. Mox versus Darby. Mox absolutely ragdolls Darby for the entirety of the match, basically. I don't really recall Darby getting much of a offense into the match whatsoever. He got absolutely just ragdolled for the duration. The finish was how would you call it? A dirty deeds from the top rope, which looked fucking brilliant. So now going into Wrestle Dream, we are talking Danielson versus Mox for the title. So how does that make you feel? Right decision, harsh on Darby. What do you think?
From what you're saying, a little harsh that Darby, got ragdolled totally, because no matter what matches he's been in. But I'll go back again with All In. I didn't really think much of the match with Jack Perry, the coffin match. It felt very much like Darby Allin was taking a lot of falls there as well. Even the ending was really strange. Like
it was cut for time. Apparently, it was cut.
Yeah,
it was cut in half because it went over.
It definitely felt, and it was just. I think I went to the toilet, walked back up the stairs because Wembley's stupidly big. Going up the stairs, and then I turned around. And that was it. And I was like, huh? I was expecting the match to be much longer. So obviously, yeah, like you say, cut short. He's obviously taken the fall for him. Am I excited by Moxley Danielson? No, I'm not. I don't know why. What it is.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the disappearance and then coming back, because Moxley's got himself in good shape again. He did not even a little bit. It was quite a bit in Japan that he was doing. Building up his character, just getting back into it almost. And then maybe it's the fact that he had this kind of, he missed all in and just kind of, almost jumps into it straight away.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that paying your dues kind of thing, which is a bit old fashioned to me, I suppose. But I just feel like he's suddenly thrown in with it. I don't know. What do you feel? Do you feel that he's worthy of that, or?
It makes sense to me from like a storytelling perspective, because obviously Mox and Danielson have like this insane, like, bonded by blood kind of type dynamic. The BCC. Yeah, in no way do I want Mox to be a 4-time champion. Danielson's got to win, because Mox doesn't need to be a 4-time champ.
And I don't
It felt.
think W
Go on.
need him as champion at the moment. I don't think it's
Yeah.
what W need. I think there's a lot of interest in Danielson's being title holder at the moment. When that starts to wane and people get bored, which they will, because wrestling fans can be quite fickle, then they'll change it. But at the moment, I don't think AEW. My concern is, is he going to get that push to go through? I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. I get the storyline, the history. I get it. But it's kind of the way he's just suddenly jumped back in, wasn't there for one of the biggest events, bang, straight in, bang, title shot. With the McGuinness thing, he was popping at Danielson for bloody ages, wasn't he? Like, same commentary, like saying stuff, and you thought they're going to have a match eventually. So you could see that a bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Mox is a major player, isn't he? So he's always going to kind of skip the queue, to use a phrase. I don't know. As long as Danielson wins, I'm good. But we'll just have to see how the story unfolds, really, because I feel like there's a lot of potential there. Obviously, we've got the Wheeler Utah dynamic as well. Like, he was being held back, and crying his little eyes out while Danielson was being murdered, but left alive.
Maybe they could have slowed it down a bit. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they could have done this build up to the title shot slower. Maybe that's what it is, because you kind of gone, he's attacked him, he's done this, people have had a pop at him backstage, he's not liked it, and then now we've got a title shot, and it's like could they
maybe
build up a bit more?
Maybe the kind of, because they keep selling Danielson. Obviously, is he's beaten up and he's getting to the end of his career. He needs neck surgery, which is what he keeps driving home. Like, I believe that he probably does need neck surgery. So it's probably just a case of strike while the iron is hot kind of thing. We've got to take advantage while he's able to do all these things still, because he said as soon as he loses, he will retire. But I don't want that to be like a feather in Mox's cap. To be honest with you, I really struggle thinking about who the right person would be to beat Danielson, to be the champ, to retire Danielson. Who the hell should that person be? Obviously, he's had matches against Okada, against Will Ospreay. We've just had the Swerve feud very recently. Kenny Omega is coming back soonish off huge surgery. He's looking really good in the gym, by the way. He's in Japan training with Kota Ibushi, which is making me very happy. I fucking miss Kenny Omega so much. I just don't know who the right person is and who they're going to choose. It needs to be like a real solid choice.
Because
it adds more to the journey, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if Omega comes from one, you'd be concerned that he'd get injured again quite quickly. So you'd be like, he's only won it just to take the title off him. Unless they go something totally left field and you're like, whoa, did not see that coming. Someone that's up and coming, perhaps. But again, no name goes in there and I go, yeah, that's going to be it. Which again makes it interesting. That's the key thing. It's not boring, is it? You can't go, they've got the title for 12 years and all this nonsense. Like, it's good. I like it. I like the fact we're not sure. That intrigue to it. But it'll probably be a good match. It will. Danielson's quality. If he does his thing, then it would be a good match. But I wonder, like you say, if there'll be run-outs. Like, U2 didn't like all the attack on him, and I think there could be more to the story. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I do think so. Makes for interesting TV though. Is there anything else you'd like to say on the matter before I start talking about some other bits and pieces of Grand Slam?
No, I think move on. I think Grand Slam stuff. I mean, you're describing the actions well. I can imagine it in my mind.
Yeah. Well, I've not got a photographic memory, but I can tell you a couple of things definitely stuck in my mind. So the match of the night, I would say, was the Bucks versus Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. It was just modern tag team wrestling, like perfection, basically. The Bucks never miss. Hate them, love them. I absolutely fucking love them. There's nobody like them. And as much as Ospreay and Fletcher having this opportunity kind of annoyed me a little bit because I miss Aussie Open proper. Like, where the hell is Mark Davis? Where are you? Where are you, Mark Davis? Are you okay?
He's gone.
Do we need to send a ransom?
The Young Bucks have got him in a dungeon somewhere. That'd be the next.
Yeah. So Ospreay and Fletcher come out wearing the green of United Empire, which made me very happy. I'm quite excited, to be honest with you, because I do kind of feel that Davis will be back shortly and we'll have United Empire in AEW, and that will just make my heart swell with happiness right there. So anyway, yeah, the match itself was obviously just full of spud monkeys doing spud monkey shit. But it was a great fun. Lots of high spots and cool shit happening. There was one part where Fletcher and Ospreay deliver styles clashes in stereo together, and I thought that was like, it looks so good. And there was another part as well where the Bucks were going for a TK driver, and then there was reversals, and then Ospreay and Fletcher deliver the TK drivers. I think it was to Matthew. So it was lots of fun. Definitely worth going and watching. But yeah, the main takeaway for me was that obviously Callis family colour is red. And the fact that they were both wearing green makes me pretty hyped for a reunion of sorts. Because Davis broke his wrist. It was like last October or December, or what show was it? Yeah, he broke his wrist like almost a year ago. I don't understand why it's taken so long to return.
It's a long injury for what I know it's broken me. So for myself, I'd be like, oh, but yeah, for these guys, that's a long time out.
I do think AEW take extra care of people with injuries, because do you remember Bandido? He broke his wrist as well, apparently, and he's been out of action for well over a year. And then you've got Adam Cole, who broke his ankle and hasn't wrestled in over a year as well. So maybe these injuries are like much worse than what we assume, but it's taken them a long time to get back into the ring. But Adam Cole's been backstage at a few Dynamites recently, so that seems like it's gaining traction, returning soon, hopefully. And also, there was a picture floating about of Powerhouse Hobbs backstage at Grand Slam last night, which made me happy.
Yeah, I've also heard about Jay White as well, possibly
for
Japan. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, David Finlay has asked President Tanahashi to lift Jay White's ban so that they can have a match, which I'm all for seeing, to be honest with you. I do feel like it's a bit weird that they've not had that kind of Bullet Club versus Bullet Club Gold kind of meet up on the Forbidden Door kind of build-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Been non-existent, so it's been a bit strange, really, but there's definitely a story and a match to have there. Needs to be taken care of, surely.
But yeah, going back to your tag match, I think with Fletcher, this new breed of kind of wrestler. He's a young lad for in terms of wrestling, and Ospreay's one of a kind, but he's the closest thing to it.
Yeah.
He's special. yeah, I mean, obviously you got the Ricochet thing, and don't get me wrong, Ricochet, I like what he does, and special, but it annoyed me when he beat Fletcher. I was a bit like, why have you put Fletcher up to lose to you as soon as you arrive in AEW for your first proper match? I was a bit like, put a jobber in with him and let him fly around him. Like, I don't know.
I suppose it's the whole paying your dues things that you touched on earlier, and he's very close to Ospreay, and obviously there's an Ospreay match coming up, so it made sense to me. But I do understand what you mean. Fletcher takes a lot of L's, and that kind of is a bit lame. But again, it's just the whole he's 25 years old.
Yeah, he could shrug it off, I suppose. Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah,
it's got a big future all the same. So is there anything else on Grand Slam? I think my mind's pulling a blank. So I'm sure there've been a few bits and pieces. Oh yeah, the FTW title was retired, which thank fuck for that.
Yeah, they need to get rid of a couple more as well, I think. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the FTW title was just. I've never really been interested in it that much. I get it, I understand it, it's fine, but yeah, I'm quite glad to see the back of it in total honesty. So yeah, onwards and upwards. What's next for Hook? So we're gonna move on to the British independent scene, which is always a topic I absolutely love to get my teeth stuck into. So we're going to talk about some shows we've been to this month, and a couple of highlights, and one particular individual that's risen to the top of the British independent scene and is definitely catching our eye and impressing us. So Michael, can you tell us about what shows you've been to in the past month?
Yeah, I went to not the last Progress show, which is a shame. The one before that, which was good fun. Went to the Noah show as well.
Nice.
They do things very differently. Every match apart from the main event was 10 minutes. They don't mess around. I was there with Scott. Like he wasn't going to go, and he arrived. And then we were both. I was done. We're finished. We were there for 2 hours, if that. I don't even know if it's that long. So they don't mess around. There's not much. There's a bit of chat, but not much. Very just action packed, bang, bang, bang. Really enjoyable. But very different the way kind of the British or even American shows where you got all the chatting and all the rest of it. But and some of them, the tag team match that was there against the Kid Lycos or the Lycos gym, you could just see the levels. Some of these Japanese wrestlers, they just set the benchmark so high for them, but really enjoyable. And then obviously, as we'll probably go on to the Luke Jacobs thing, but yeah, we could talk about him afterwards. But which
I was at the Progress Noah Manchester show as well. That was the day before the London show, and I had a lot of fun. I was not very impressed that they didn't stop for a break, because the O2 Ritz was fucking sweltering for the entire time we were in there. We're all dying, wanting some fresh air. But no fresh air for us, just sweat for 2 hours and 2.5 hours or whatever. So it was a thoroughly enjoyable show. I forget the name of the luchador tag team, Los Golpeados or something like that. They fucking ruled.
Did they fight Mayfair's? And
it wasn't Mayfair's. No, I can't for the life of me remember what the team were called, but they were really, really southern, and they were just giving it the big one to all the Manx and what have you in the crowd and that. But yeah, they ruled, man. The Los Golpeados. So I can't remember the name properly, so excuse me. But yeah, they were so good, clean, crisp, just very impressive. Absolutely fantastic to see Marufuji with my own eyes. Never thought I'd see the day. What else? What else happened? Ricky Knight Jr. pinned Kaito Kiyomiya, the GHC world champion. So that was a pretty big shock, to be honest with you. But it led to him having a title shot the next night in London. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Let's go down.
I think the tag team match that you were saying, they fought against Tate Mayfairs, and that was easily the best match of the night for me. It was brutal. At one point they flew into the crowd, all of them, and they hit those chairs. There was one guy just sat there refusing to move, and we were all just like, mate, you need to get out of the way. He was sat there with his drink. His drink ended up on his head. He was like on the floor. The stewards are like trying to get him up, and I was like, what do you expect? These guys have been flying around the ring for a good 5-6 minutes already. Get out of the way, Pat. Anyway, that was good. The main event was the longer match of all of them, and Ricky Knight. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of his. I can't remember if it was that show. I think it was that show. It wasn't the Progress one, where the stewards are there, and he's in the middle of the ring, and everyone obviously can see you, and it's not a big venue. And he winked so blatantly to the stewards to say that he's about to fly out the ring. And even people that didn't know wrestling were like, he was like, like that. And then he went the ropes for no reason, and then got jumped on, and they flew out the ring. And I was a bit like, have I just seen that right? Like, I just don't know if he frustrates me a little bit, because he always seems to have these, big British matches. He had that really strange gimmick that he looked like Finn Balor. And I was like,
just the shit, Finn Balor.
He got it that night, and quite rightfully so. So that main event, I was a bit like, please, you cannot win this. I knew he wouldn't. He's not going to take the title, but I was a bit like, very anti him winning it. He's quite well loved within Progress. He's quite probably more so than he is within RevPro.
Yeah, Progress seem to be pushing him hard at the moment, so it seems like they want him to be like the top guy or something to that effect. So, I mean, all the power to them. He's got talent. There's a potential there, but again, I'm not a big fan. There's not a lot there drawing me in and making me.
He's just like Randy Orton. There's a lot of copying, doing with the arm up and everything, and the way he sort of comes into the ring. There's too much of other people. You want to see a bit more of him. But don't get me wrong, you can wrestle, but it's that buying into the character, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, and the Progress show had the return of his name. I keep getting Noir. I think it is. He came back.
Back, baby.
They love him. They absolutely love him. The crowd went nuts, and that was before he wrestled the other week. But he suits Progress. He suits that crowd, whereas our friend, the title holder, doesn't suit that crowd.
I'm very happy to welcome Cara Noir back into the scene. He's been a massive miss for quite some time. Welcome back, Black Swan. So during that Progress Noah show, Luke Jacobs, who is the undisputed British heavyweight champion, simultaneously holding the Progress World Championship and the Rev Pro World Championship. I believe he's the first man ever in history to do that. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment down below. But that cannot be shied away from. Fantastic. But he had a match against Ozawa, I believe was the name. Just pretty basic. I think it only went on for about 9 minutes. But I just want to celebrate Luke Jacobs' name. The man is. I remember going to. So there was a promotion up here. You may have heard of it, called 1PW. It's fairly infamous. So it was unfortunately run by an undesirable individual that ended up disappearing years ago. Brought it back. and then kind of rinsed and repeated the same thing. Anyway, yeah, it's a shame, but I remember sitting at one of the one PW shows, like maybe 3 years ago, something like that, and there was like a multi-man scramble match, and one of the contestants was somebody called Luke Jacobs, who I'd never seen or heard of before, and there was just something about him. There was like 6 people in this match. I'm struggling to remember who. I think Scotty Rourke was one of them. And I can't recall too much else about who was in that match, but I just kept looking at Luke Jacobs. There was just something about him. And to fast forward from then to now, to see he's holding like Lukey 2 belts or whatever stupid nickname you could give him. I'm sure he'd hate that. Like it's definitely very, very impressive, and I want him to go to Japan so fucking badly, and I have done for quite some time. Me and Scott have talked at length about the match potential of him going to like New Japan and just wrestling everybody. So yeah, long may the champion reign, and go to Japan, please, Luke.
Yeah, I think he had a trios match in the London show, and he just made it good fun. I think it could have been quite boring if it didn't have him in it. I just like the no nonsense. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to beat you up, and again, going back to, I don't think it suits Progress as much. I think they like this flamboyant kind of more storytelling side of it, whereas Rev Pro feels more gritty, shall we say, and more violent in that sense. So I think he suits Rev Pro really well. And I really wanted him to. I didn't initially want him to win the title when it first sort of came about, but by the time the show happened, that was at the Copper Box, I think. Yes, I think so. Yes, when he did take the title, I was like, yeah, you deserve that one. Like, and just like what he does. I think he's solid in every match. He's entertaining. He doesn't. Yeah, there's no nonsense. And you're right. I think going to Japan would do him good, just to push him through almost like that trajectory, and hopefully end up in AEW long term. But no, not into WWE. No, we don't want.
I think he's been outspoken before about his dream is WWE, but I could be making that up also. He's a big Regal fan, so he just wants to follow the kind of Regal footsteps, I suppose, and all the power to him, whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch a lot of WWE, but I think I'd prefer him in AEW, where he'd have those matches that you'd enjoy. Whereas what would they do with him? Again, he's very very action based, isn't he? Rather than doesn't talk much.
Send him to WWE. They'll dress him up like a gangster, wearing like purple bloody tracksuits with like just one of those stupid golf sun visor hats backwards and sunglasses, and having doing all this kind of stuff. And
I think they're trying to do the Peaky Blinder job on him. Like, what's his name? Don't need one of those chubbies. Like, no, don't do it. Yeah, it would just be weird. I couldn't see it, but yeah, I think he the closest, going back to what you were saying about being that holy for both. I think that was RKJ came closest to having both the Rev Pro and the Progress, because he was Progress champion. I thought at one point he'd win the Rev Pro, so he's probably been the one that's become closest out of them. I might be wrong. There might be someone, but I don't remember anyone else holding both of those belts.
All right. Okay. Cool. So, has there been any other shows that you've been to?
No. There's a few shows on the horizon I'm really looking forward to. New Japan, at Crystal Palace.
Oh, nice. You're going, yeah.
Yeah, going to that one.
I went last year with Scott. It was lots of fun.
Yeah. I've seen them at Crystal, but they did Crystal Palace last year as well, I think. But yeah, there's. I'm hoping. Yeah, it was Copperbox, wasn't it, last time? But I'm hoping.
Venue, loved it.
Yeah. I think both. I like Crystal Palace because it's on my doorstep, so it's quite very nice and lazy. But when you see over. It's really good fun. But have you been to any other recently? So I think I only did the 2 in the month of September.
So yeah, the Royal Quest show last year was an 11-hour round trip for me. Never driving to London ever again. So yes, I have been to other shows. Obviously, the Noah show that we've touched on. I have been to Tidal Wrestling Show. Our great friends over at Tidal, they put on 6 shows with great cards all the time, and it's an absolute pleasure to go. So we had Spike Trevay versus Man Like DeReiss, which was just brilliant, to be honest with you. Lots of fun. I am a huge Spike Trevay fan. He is everything that I love about like wrestling, like that dark kind of evil, sinister character, and he is so articulate and great on the mic. Great moveset as well. Yeah, big fan. DeReiss is loads of fun too, and he kind of turned heel during the match and stuff, which was quite cool. I heard someone in the crowd like shout something at DeReiss, and he turned around and laughed at it. And then I heard someone say that DeReiss went to university in Huddersfield. Now I don't know whether this is true or not, but it kind of made me like chuckle a little bit. That maybe that he's back on his own stomping ground kind of thing. So what else was there? There was. Have you ever heard of a young man called Vusic?
I'm not sure. Maybe
No.
not.
Okay, so this guy is making his way mostly around the north of England for the moment, but he is somebody I've got big ideas for. I think he will definitely be one of the next kind of people to break through and start being booked on RevPro and Progress shows, because he has a great style, great demeanor. He's just hard. Like the chant at Tidal is "Vusic's gonna kill you." So I've been talking to Scott about him a little bit, and I'm just kind of waiting for somebody to give him that opportunity at somebody like Progress or Rev Pro, because the guy is he's a serious talent in my opinion. So he went up against Nathan Cruz, who you might recognize the name of. Yeah, very handsome, hairy man. So yeah, they had so Vusic is the Tidal Iron Will champ, and they went to a 20-minute draw, which was absolutely fantastic ride, to be honest with you. Brutal. Like Cruz delivered this horrifying like power bomb to the outside of the ring. They both stood on the outside of the ring on like on the mat, and then powerbomb goes up, and then bang, 3-6 back on the ring. Oh, it was absolutely grim. But yeah, great match. So that went to a time limit draw, and they're going on to a 30-minute Iron Will match at the next show, as opposed to the 20-minute one that they just had. So that's going to rule. Just trying to remember who else was on the show now. But yeah, great show. Thoroughly enjoyable. Just going to check. I don't want to miss anything. Yeah, so, oh, right, yeah, we had Sam Gradwell went up against Rob Drake, but that match unfortunately only lasted about 2 minutes because Sam Gradwell blew his knee out. So speedy recovery to Sam Gradwell, the legend himself. And the other show was a show I went to over the weekend, last Friday. Our True Grit Wrestling, who were at the left side, proudly sponsor, had a show called Friday Night Showdown. It was basically a showcase of all the north of England's very best, to be honest with you. There's a few guys there that people down south should hopefully in time will get to see on the bigger shows and stuff. A young man called Kemper, 6'5", 235 or 40, I think he is. He's an absolute monster unit, dude. Lots of tattoos. Very talented. There's definitely something there. Watch this space kind of deal. Nathan Black, the comedian, is just an absolute treat. He's hilarious. He makes me laugh very much. Do you know Pursuit Pro Wrestling, the training facility? No, okay, all right, fair enough. So he and Liam Slater, who's probably a little bit more of a recognizable name for some, they run Pursuit Pro Wrestling. So they train everybody, basically, absolutely everybody. There's been a laundry list of Pursuit alumni on Work the Left Side. So yeah, there's a super talented trainer and super talented wrestler. He's like that kind of cocky heel, but he's a comedy kind of act, really. But yeah, lots of fun. There's a tag team up here called Misery Business as well, who are just, I fucking love them. I think they're great. They work well. Big guy, little guy, smaller guy, kind of dynamic. And yeah, they work together really well.
They've been down south. Yeah, they've been.
Misery Business, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Wade and Alan Kay. So yeah, I'm a big fan of those guys. There's something about Joe Wade. I mean, no disrespect whatsoever to Alan Kay, because they suit each other so well in that tag team. But there's, when you just kind of see somebody, and like I said about Luke Jacobs earlier, when you see somebody and you can't take your eye off them, kind of thing. Like there's something about them that's drawing you to them. Joe Wade has that in spades for me, so he's definitely somebody to be looking out for in the future. Hopefully, he can, or they can, venture down south once again. And
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
a Spanish guy that's been in Rev Pro a couple of times, and his name I can never say it properly, and I'm not even going to try. But he's been in quite a couple of the shows now.
Okay.
He's been really good. He fought RKJ at Summer Sizzler, and RKJ got badly injured, and the fight was really oddly ended. He had to walk out, and you could see he was really concerned for him because RKJ sort of collapsed in a heap, and he got the win. But he's going to be special as well. Good size, very high flying, athletic. If they can get his image right, because at the moment he's a little bit corny, a little bit cheesy, but the crowd love him because he's a good wrestler. But if they can find a space for him, I'll have to find out his name. But he's going to be big as well. If they can get him right, but definitely character with him more than ability. I think going back to your Spike Trevay, he was really hot down here in terms of progress and Rev Pro for quite a while. He sort of disappeared down here now. Don't see him on those shows as much. But at the point where probably 2 years ago, he was like real good heel. The mask and the way he spoke and some of the stuff he was doing was really good. But he's gone very quiet with him down here. We haven't seen him in many of the shows at all. And then, man like BritWres, he came out. I can't remember his dance track that he comes out to. I don't know how I've forgotten it because it went on for ages. And he's got the visor thing on as well, hasn't he? That says, it's just mad. And at first you're like, no, like it doesn't work. But there's something about him that wins you over. Like, if it was someone else coming out that didn't have his ability, you'd be like, what are you doing? Like, but when he comes out, everyone's like, oh, no. You go, what am I doing? I shouldn't be appreciating this at all. But he's really good in the ring as well, like really solid. I think, the Leon Slater comparison, I would say he's in some ways better than him.
He's more polished, I think, but he's more polished, but in a different kind of style.
Yeah. Yeah, and with Leon Slater, what you're going to get. It's going to be good, but I think there's more to BritWres' style. Like he can vary it a bit more. He can play, kind of like the tougher guy in some ways. So yeah, I like him, but he doesn't. Again, he's very sporadic. He's saying that he wants a Progress title shot, and supposedly on Slater, quite a few of them want to go for it, so it should be good that the names are all going for this title that Luke Jacob holds. So yeah, there's stuff happening. The British scene at the moment, I just like it. I just like there's not that competitiveness between the brands, shall we say, like the Rev Pro Progress thing. It's very different, and it depends what mood you're in and what you're looking for. But yeah, Rev Pro. Yeah, it depends what you're after. It's, to suit your taste. But yeah, I just feel Luke Jacob definitely Rev Pro. So, and I don't know if you've spoken about this already. What's happened to Michael Oku? I do not know. Like, he was top of the tree, wasn't he, in quite a few of the, not just Rev Pro, elsewhere as well. The one in Clapham, I can't remember the name of it, Circus or something, wrestling. He was the champion there, and he gave that up, lost that title the night before AEW, or 2 nights before, and then he lost the Rev Pro to Luke Jacobs, and everyone was like, well, he's going to end up in AEW. He signed a contract, but then he fought, I think he fought in like Southampton or something, and it was like, oh, well, he hasn't then. So I don't know if you know what's happening.
Well, last I heard was that he had signed with AEW, and he made his debut in a dark match before the Wales Dynamite at Cardiff. Not heard anything since. Maybe they're just biding the time to bring him in. So we'll just have to see, I suppose. But yeah, huge talent and deserves everything that he gets. So yeah, I'm not sure what else to add really. But yeah, might just be having a holiday. making good money now on Tony Khan's wages. So he's gone on a nice long holiday with Amira.
You can imagine like Khan when he was at Crystal Palace and he fought Will Ospreay, and the crowd were like, "You signed the wrong one." You can imagine Khan going, "I'll have him as well then."
Yeah, pretty much.
For someone to hold their own against Will Ospreay, in England,
that was a real match.
Yeah, like fair play to you. Like, obviously I wanted Luke Jacobs to take the title off him, but I think he deserved his shot at this. I mean, it's just again goes about, well, how are you gonna sell him, because he's not a big guy in terms of, he's not muscular. He's not your classic look to him, but he's very good at what he does. So it'd be interesting how they use him. Will he try and spray? I don't know. You don't know, do you? No.
Yeah, no, we don't at all. So yeah, who knows, man. So yeah, I think we'll start drawing the episode to a close. We've been going for 58 minutes, so not to keep you too long. So yeah, thank you for joining me, Michael. I very much appreciate it. It's very much appreciated from myself and Scott that you were able to tag in for this episode. I'm sure we'll have you on again in future times. You might remember Michael from the All In hype video. Just I should have said that earlier on. I said that in my...
was wrong, by the way. It was the main event, but one of the was wrong. I was like, oh, I got that one. But the main event, I was like, I thought Swerve would take it, but no. So
yeah. Yeah, so so good. But yeah, so Michael, where can we find you on socials, dude?
Hair, high tops, happiness, a mix of wrestling, football, and random pictures of random things, and then probably at a Progress or Rev Pro show, you will see me knocking around, watching from afar. But yeah, that's me.
Super cool, right? Yeah. So obviously you can find us at on Instagram at WTLS316. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Just follow us everywhere you can. My personal Instagram is tankle_grimoire. If you are into my general day-to-day life, which is just lots of like death metal and extreme music and wrestling and football and family stuff, you know how it goes. So yeah, so if you are still with us for the closing in on an hour. You are a legend. Thank you very much. It is appreciated. And yeah, we'll see you guys in a month's time. Scott should be hopefully back from Japan. Hopefully the Yakuza don't steal him. So yeah. Anyway, waffling. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, and you take care.